What's up, my little rosebuds? How are y'all doing today? Happy Monday. It's Monday, August 3rd. I hope all of you are doing well. I see some of y'all beat me to the comment section. What's up, Shiz? What's up, CEO? It's good to see you. Shiz beat you today, CEO. That's so funny. But it's good to see y'all. Sorry I'm late. I had to cook. Okay, as back to school is coming. Um, we go back to school on Wednesday. Thank you, CEO, for kicking me off with 5 Smell the Roses memberships. That is so awesome. Thank you very much, CEO. That's awesome. Yeah, Shiz be yapping. He beat you. He beat you. But thank you for the membership. So awesome, friend. I appreciate you very much. I hope you're having an awesome Monday. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about 3 people. You saw them on the thumbnail. Yes, we're going to talk about it. Shizvi Yappin, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Thank y'all. That's very sweet of you, Shiz. Thank you so much. I don't have a drop for memberships. But I appreciate y'all for doing that for me. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. I think I saw Pooh Man too. I saw Pooh Man. Hey, Pooh Man, it's good to see you. Thank you for dropping my Cash App. If you are coming into the building, please hit the light build, not the building, the garden, right? Because this is the rose garden, duh. Okay, but if you're coming into the garden, hit the like button for me, please. Likes are free. They're very much free and they are very much appreciated, okay? Thank you, Pooh Man, for all that you do. I appreciate you very much. And also, become a member of my channel, become a rosebud. What's up, Roxy? Good day to you too, girly. Good day to you too. It's good to see you. You know what? No, we're not. No, we're not. No, you're not. What's up, Cases? It's good to see you. Okay, so let me get started. All right, we're going to talk about everybody that we see on the thumbnail. Okay, some things will be you know for these are conversations that we should be having with our families and with ourselves, like not necessarily arguing with anyone about, but just things to consider, because the things that these people are doing are going viral. Okay, so it's good to see y'all. Happy Monday. Let's get started with the Rose Report. Okay, so the first story that we're going to cover today is about it's from this lady named Erin Molan. She's a content creator on YouTube. I think she's British, and she seems to cover like maybe women's sports, or I don't know. I just found her today because I was Googling content and I found this story interesting. I do not watch the WNBA, but my job wants to start supporting the WNBA. So a way for me to get brownie points is to go on these little missions and watch the WNBA with my job. my day job. Okay, so I'm trying to get into what's going on in the WNBA in sports. Okay, so I found this story interesting. This story is about WNBA star Sophie Cunningham. Okay, and apparently people are dragging her for filth because she said something along the lines of she agrees with trans women being banned from women's sports. Okay, so basically she's saying, she finds it unfair that women have to compete with men inside of women's sports, is basically what she's saying. Okay, and so people are dragging her for filth. So the other night she had a basketball game, and because she has these beliefs and she's been openly vocal about them, people are protesting her. And she went to play a game the other night, and a coach had the audacity to show up with a shirt that said something along the lines of, I don't know, allegedly, that trans kids have rights too, or something like that. I'm going to let this video play. Mrs. Aaron is going to tell us about it. She's really intense. She's really pissed off. Okay. She's very passionate about it. So this is why I picked her content to showcase today. I'm using this in the guise of fair use. So hopefully Aaron doesn't hit me with a strike. But for all of you rosebuds that find this content interesting, I will be sure to leave the link to this video in the description box so that you can see it once the show concludes, and you can go and either subscribe to her channel or give this video a like for yourself. I already have, but yeah, okay, so I won't talk anymore. Let's hear from Aaron about Sophie Cunningham and what this coach did during her last game. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'm annoyed.
She's annoyed, y'all.
Like, seriously annoyed.
Like, seriously.
And I don't really get that annoyed that often. I mean, I get shocked and I'm appalled frequently by the state of the world. But this has really pissed me off. WNBA coach wears "Trans Kids Belong" shirt to game against Sophie Cunningham. Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve sends a message from the sideline wearing a "Trans Kids Belong" shirt during Sunday's matchup with Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever. Okay. There were protests outside. Sophie is being booed when she runs onto the court. Can we be brutally honest here? And
yes, let's be brutally honest.
Let's be honest. That's really all I know. I'm not a big filter person unless...
Hold on, let's see. Cases says they see Sophie like the great YT hope, like Caitlin Clark. There can only be one. So I thought Caitlin Clark was the bee's knees of women basketball. It seems like Sophie's getting attention, but for the wrong reasons. But again, I don't really follow women's basketball, so you guys have to tell me. Was Sophie really popular before she made this comment about trans people playing in the NBA? Like, were people checking for her, or are people just checking for her because she made this comment? Like, I'm interested in knowing that, because again, I am just now following this women's basketball.
Yes, it's the Paris one on Instagram, and I've had, well, not a lot of sleep. But that aside, this is their playbook. This coach wears a "Trans Kids Belong" shirt. And by the way, absolutely great. Love that. Sophie Cunningham, though, doesn't need to be told that, because she's never said anything even remotely resembling that. And this is what they do. They do it for everything.
Yeah, I agree. You see how you see how she just said trans women should not be in women's sports, and now all of a sudden she's being crucified for making it seem like trans kids shouldn't be in women's sports when she never said anything about kids. You see how if you say anything like someone is dying and chomping at the bits to misconstrue your words or misconstrue your words, okay? And no, that's not cool. That's not right. You know what I mean? Like, this lady is going to a basketball game. She's trying to do her best, and you done ginned up a whole protest outside. I work somewhere that's super, it's a place, and we don't like protesters. They're scary. Okay, you never know what's going to break out when there's a protest, even if they're elderly and you think, the elderly, nobody would possibly tote a gat out here. Oh, the elderly are toting gats. Okay, I'm going to LA Fitness and I'm working out in the gym and I'm running on the treadmill and I see elderly men in there working out with gats. Okay, I live in Georgia. Where do you live? Okay. So, yeah. All right. What's good, Kennard? It's good to see you.
For everything. It's the same as Boy George doing a song saying, "We will dance again." For the kids shot at a music festival and all of a sudden he is a genocide supporter. No, but they come out with, "George, screw you for supporting genocide, cancel him." He doesn't. It's the same thing here. Sophie Cunningham has said that males, biological males, do not belong in women's sport. That's it.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you think? Y'all tell me. Do y'all think that it's unfair that they only want to make women's sports for biological women? And that means women that were born with a uterus and or ovaries and estrogen. Okay? More of that than testosterone. Okay? Clearly a female at birth. Okay? Thank you for the gold coins, Lee Turner. I see you. Thank you so much for supporting me, sir. Yay to the jewels. I got some jewels and I got some memberships. Y'all, thank you so much. If you're coming into the show, please hit the like button for me. I really appreciate you. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm on the road to 4,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. But yeah, if you can, like, tell me what you think in the comments, either right now in the live chat or on the replay. Do you think it's unfair that they do not want men playing women's sports? Because that's essentially what they're saying. They're saying men belong in men's sports and women's sports is not for men. I mean,
that is the rational, sane.
Yeah, I agree. It is rational and it is sane, because like if we're going to get rid of that rule, then just why have rules in wrestling? Why not put like a 450-pound person sumo wrestler against like a 125-pound fighter? Like we should just do that too, right? I'm being facetious, but you see what I'm saying? Like, is that fair? Would that be fair? I don't think it's fair.
Commonly shared stance. It's a safety issue. It's a fairness issue. It's not an anti-trans kids campaign, but this coach saying all trans kids are welcome. This is what they do. The straw man argument. She is trying to say that Sophie is against trans kids and she's excluding them and this is evil. No, it's so dumb. It's so evil. It's so calculated. And this is how they silence people. See, I would not care less if it was me. I'm so battle hardened in this space, whatever. But people like Sophie, this will rattle her because the thought of her doing something that hurts kids would make her feel sick, like most of us. And she will now be terrified that this is how it's being framed. She will step back. She will stop doing the most powerful thing she was doing, which is speaking common sense. And this is...
I don't think somebody that plays basketball is such a high level as this Sophie Cunningham person. I don't think that this will rattle her, you know, but I do think that it's important that the basketball court and away game should feel safe while you're on the court playing the game. And when somebody is wearing a shirt or something that is actively making the crowd boo you or throw things at you or is kind of like stoking the flames, I think that is not right. I don't think that's cool. You know, the coaches should keep their own personal opinions and their politics off the court. If Colin Kaepernick can't take a knee, then the coach in the basketball in the WNBA, a WNBA coach should not be able to wear t-shirts that are going to gin up the crowd, especially when one of the players are getting scrutiny for something similar to what she's advocating for on her t-shirt. I think that's fair. So I think this lady has a point, and I think she's super cute. Like, I love her little beachy hair, and her little dress is so cute. It looks like she's wearing a Diane von Furstenberg dress, a little wrap dress. And I like her stack necklaces. I think she's cute. Okay.
How they win. That t-shirt is BS. Sophie never, ever, ever attacked trans kids. You know, trans kids deserve all the love in the world. They deserve a lot of help. They need help. They need support. Okay, but it's like any child, you can't always do and be in everything that you want. Just like when I was little, I couldn't play in the boys' soccer team.
Yeah.
That wasn't me being
yeah, it's just some things I just think are just natural. I feel like if trans people feel so, if they want to be included, I'm all for it. But like, why don't you fight for like your own designation? You know, and so that way this designation is included in all of these other things. Like, I think maybe you handle that first, and then you can be included, but you would be included as that designation. You know what I mean? To keep it fair, because we have to keep it fair. You know, it's just not fair that you possibly grew up with 35 years of testosterone pumping through your veins every day, and then at 37 you decide you want to go from Lewis to Laura. You know, it's not going to take away all those years of testosterone. So you're still going to be the same strength as a female as you were as a man. I think that is fair to deduce. I don't understand why people get mad. It's like you wouldn't expect somebody in a wheelchair to play basketball against Michael Jordan. You just wouldn't do that. So yeah,
excluded in this horrific campaign of hate. No, it was just the reality of the situation for reasons, like I said, safety and equality, fairness in sport. And you know what?
Yeah, because listen, could you imagine if somebody like Big Worm decided he wanted to play women's basketball and just put on a Kendra G wig and start playing basketball? He would be like he would be dominating the court. Is that fair? Is that fair? It isn't fair. That wouldn't be fair. That would be too much. So I don't understand why there's so much backlash about it.
It's just the way it is. This t-shirt and revving up the crowd and getting all these people on board to now attack Sophie will mean that every other person who was thinking of saying something that is so rational, normal, simple, but that might need to be said in an environment that has gone bat-beat crazy won't do it. Because they'll be terrified that they'll be painted as some kind of anti-trans children campaigner. It's BS. This t-shirt is BS. And it annoys me because I see it every day. In every space you see it. You speak out against something, it gets framed as something completely different to get the masses on board who are too lazy to actually look at what the issue is. So people who are not following this, or who just look at headlines and go, see this and go, that's not nice. Why would Sophie be trying to exclude? Like, sorry, it's so dumb. It's a straw man.
Yeah, it's enough of her. I think we get the point, right? Like, we'll see. So we'll see how this goes for her. Like, you know, we'll see if this, you know, beautiful Amazonian, she is tall as hell. Like, I mean, how she's not a model, I don't know. I think she's really beautiful. She's in this top right corner, or at least it's my right. But yeah, I think she's pretty. I think, you know, it's fine for her to have an opinion. But when you put stuff like this out here, the crazies go running with it. But I agree with Sophie. I wonder what you think. Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. If you're here now, like, if you don't mind, could you put a 1 in the chat if you agree that, trans women should not play or be included in women's sports? Or do you think that they should? Put a 2 if you think that they should. That would be cool. Okay, so that was my video on Miss Sophie Cunningham, and that content creator, her name was Erin Molin. I subscribed to her. I gave her a like. I will leave her video linked in the description once the show is over. So let me stop sharing this and pop that over there, and then okay, so our next subject is going to be on Brandon Tatum. I know that y'all, thank you so much for putting the ones in the chat, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. And hit the like button, please, if you are coming in or leaving out. Please don't forget to leave a like for me. I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you for all of the gifts, Shiz Be Yappin', the Genius CEO, and also to Lee Turner for my jewels. I appreciate y'all very much. See, I got some gifts. I got some jewels. I'm doing it big today, okay? Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Please hit the like button. Yes, cases. I mean, Brandon Tatum, he is a conundrum. So I watched the history about him, and I didn't know how he came to be who we know him to be today, Officer Tatum. I found out that he played football, and then he didn't get drafted, and then he became a police officer, and then he allegedly, I don't know, got fired or quit, and then he became a content creator. I think he might have gotten fired because he went viral for something he said about, I don't know if it was, I can't really remember. I was watching, trying to watch so much content and digging through, to see, what I aligned with enough to show you guys. Cause I like to show you all videos and suggest videos that I like too, that are somewhat educational or, whatever. But anyway, so I didn't choose to show that video today because I assume a lot of you guys have been on YouTube longer than me and know the story and the backstory of Officer Tatum. But he has lost his mind. Okay. I mean, good Lord. Okay. So we're going to watch a video about Officer Tatum. I do not agree with what the hell he is saying in this video, but I wanted to show this video because although we don't agree with, most of us probably don't agree with what Officer Tatum is doing or does, we can at least agree that that you can have useful idiots. You know what I'm saying? There can be a such thing as having a useful idiot. If it wasn't for what Officer Tatum did the other day, we wouldn't have so much to chew on. And he's given us a lot to chew on since he met with some of those young men that were allegedly with Nolan Wells when he passed away. I did cover Nolan Wells a couple of weeks ago. I decided not to cover him into more content or more facts, rather, not content, because there's plenty of content out there about Nolan, but until more information comes out about him, you know what I'm saying? Factual information, people have been running wild with some of the deep fake stuff that AI has been making. So anyway, I'm going to share this screen. This here is from this guy named Reese Waters. I don't know if you guys watch him. I watch him sometimes. I think, he's pretty funny. I for the most part, I like his content. I thought that this was a great video to show you guys because it's funny, and I think he does a great job of telling the story of like what has recently gone on with this man, Officer Tatum, since Nolan Wells' body was found. Okay, this young man passed away or went missing over 4th of July weekend, and then came up missing or found deleted on that Monday. So 4th of July was a Saturday. On Monday, they found his body. And ever since then, it's just been like Officer Tatum has been on a nonstop campaign slandering this young man who died under very suspicious circumstances. So here we go. We're going to let this video play. This video, again, is from Reese Waters. I'm using it so we can talk about Brandon Tatum being a useful idiot with creating all of this content that will hopefully be able to be used in court. But yeah, here we go. What's up, Willing to Win? It's good to see you. Yeah, I don't like I don't like DL Hughley that much either, but if I had to pick a side to be on right now, I'd be on DL Hughley's side. But it's good to see you, Willing to Win. It's good to see you, John. Also, it's good to see you too, Reverend Dr. CJ. Good to see you. Happy Monday. You guys, please don't forget to hit the like button for me. And Mr. Aaron Reese, I will have this video linked in the description so that my followers can go and give your video a like and or subscribe to your channel. All right, here we go, guys.
How he presented himself against Stephen A. Smith, against Nancy Grace. I did peep that. You came dressed for court to go on Nancy Grace. You sure did.
Okay. Okay, so wait, let me pause it right here because in the next person that we talk about and discuss, we're going to talk about how different Sambos go around and do content and how they might dress for church when they go sit down with the good YTs. But when they come to your channel, they're usually dressed in some kind of hood get up, like a t-shirt, a ball cap, a gold chain, trying to be very urban, trying to acquiesce to the audience. But yeah, I just put a pin in the fashion part, okay? Because I have a fashion funny after this, okay?
Get out there!
Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video, and salute to everybody supporting the channel over at thepeoplesgetup.com. Don't forget to send your merch pics to me at admin@reesewaters.com. This is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond.
I like the name of that show, Who Raised Y'all? It's so funny.
To make society worse.
Black people commit over half of all murders in this country.
Did you read the book?
I did not read the book.
You are uneducated.
I did it for a living.
That's cool
And
story,
you did not.
bro.
If you're 25 and under, the leading cause of death for you is being murdered by another black person.
Think you foolish.
You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
Now, Officer Tatum, we have been here quite a bit now, haven't we?
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Brand new Officer Tatum action desk. He's got one position.
Israel first. Change my mind.
And he will not budge. Press his cap and watch him nod in agreement all day long.
They are so shady, but the tea is piping hot right now, okay?
Illegal Haitian. Okay, got it. So we want to highlight the one illegal Haitian and air him out.
like, how many illegal Haitians have you heard about getting deported, y'all? I forgot about that one, but I forgot about that story, but see, I don't follow Tatum, so I didn't even know he covered stuff like this, but this is hilarious.
After, because they haven't suffered enough after the last election cycle, so that was well done. Oh, I see DEI. You definitely can't go 10 videos without mentioning DEI. So he got his DEI quota in there. We discuss your stances on a great number of things where you suspiciously always end up as the milk dud in the whipped cream.
What do you mean by that?
The milk dud in the whipped cream.
What?
That's not what y'all. That's what we've been saying.
Nah.
Well, you know the whole point. You get what I'm saying. Wrong. But here's the thing, Officer Tatum, and this is why you're here on Who Raised Y'all. What is it that I said when the brother was out here bragging about scamming MAGA with the Shiloh Hendricks thing? Huh? What was it that I said?
Hey, I scam MAGA. Hey.
What? Why do we do this? Why do we go online confessing crimes? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with people? Huh? What is wrong with them? He is lit as hell talking about he done scam MAGA. Is he crazy? What is wrong with him?
Hey, MAGA, give me that bread.
I need to ask, who's teaching the youth? Huh? Who is teaching the youth? What happened to each one teach one?
Oh my God.
And what was it that I told the brother who scammed MAGA, had the whole song about Charlie Kirk and he ran? What was it that I said then?
I scammed MAGA for 30 bands.
I got the money and rent. Sorry, not that part. The part where I addressed the dry snitching. Were you found out? Like, what happened? What happened? Were they threatening to go public? Why would you be making a TikTok telling everybody that you did a scam? What's going on with the youth today? Yep, that's right. That is right. So here's the thing. The first rule of grifting, Officer Tatum, is you don't make it so hot. You don't make your grift so obvious for.
You see why I picked this video? I liked him using the street vernacular with this, right? But yeah, he is totally right. Like, what the hell are you doing blowing up the spot so hot? You got Nancy Grace on your ass. She on national television. He about to get all these content creators grifting off of this poor dead boy. What is wrong with them? Who raised them? This is such a great name of a show. Who Raised Y'all? Shout out to Reese Waters.
All the world to see. And you for damn sure, if you getting involved in criminal justice, don't want to tangle with Nancy Grace. You don't want that kind of smoke.
You're saying the park ranger found him. That leads me to believe there were no friends. There was no newly met girlfriend. So am I left to believe that he goes out swimming all on his own and the friend girl leaves, the mates from school leave, everybody just leaves him out in the water and he dies and then just conveniently washes ashore? Somebody just left him out in the water? Does that make sense to you?
No.
It sure don't, Nancy Grace.
Hell no, it don't make sense. Hell no, it doesn't make sense. Does it make sense to y'all that Nolan Wells just freaking passed away after hanging out on the 4th of July and nobody knows what happened? Nothing. No boating accident was called in, nothing. Or there was a boating accident called in, but no one had to explain why the village pump wasn't working allegedly. I don't know. I don't know. But
It sure don't, Nancy Grace, and I'm glad you asked that question. Apparently that made sense to Officer Tatum, so much so that he decided he wanted this smoke, Nancy Grace.
Nolan Wells bombshell tonight. The dead teen's messages deleted after his body washes ashore. Caitlin, now allegations have reared their ugly head that his phone has been tampered with and items have been deleted. Explain.
They had his phone. And when his mother was looking for his phone when he was missing, there were two different ways to identify it, either a Snapchat location or a Life 360 location. They showed different locations, which is very possible because one updates automatically, the other only updates when you open the app. But when she finally tracked it down, she says there was nothing on it from that day.
Must be one of those coincidences, huh, Officer Tatum? Huh? Oh, no, you're going to get your opportunity. You're going to get that smoke. Don't worry. I'm just getting her warmed up.
Bombshell tonight in the...
First of all, shout out to Nancy Grace, okay? We went to the same college, okay? Mercer University is our alma mater, okay? Alma mater, yeah. Not armada. But no, shout out to her. But don't you love it every time she says bombshell tonight? Like, that's how I'm going to start opening up Smell the Roses Rose Report. Bombshell tonight. Aaliyah got snapped on this weekend by Fatty. She got called out for being a chameleon. CJ was simping. Bombshell tonight. You know, like stuff like that, you know? But y'all don't think that's funny? Okay, here we go.
Tragic death of a young man, Nolan Wells. In the last hours, we learn the contents of a second independent autopsy on Nolan's body.
Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Cause of death, undetermined, pending investigation. The manner of death, undetermined, pending investigation.
Well, Kennard, I don't necessarily agree with that. That's pretty harsh too and hardcore of you to say, but let's talk about this. Personally, Kennard says, personally, I think this whole thing was a play so his mammy could get paid. The fact that she hired Uncle Ben Crump speaks volumes. So I don't think that way at all. I think that what is she supposed to do? Who do you think, who else do you suggest that she call to go against a small town judge and football legend family in a state like Mississippi? Who do you think she should have called? Who could have helped her? Is she just supposed to not care, like what happened to her son? Is she just supposed to accept that he drowned, but nobody can explain how he got there in the water to drown in the first place? That's sad. That makes me sad that you think that his mom is just grifting. I'm pretty sure that she would rather have her son than not have her son at all. Yeah, I understand that. Who shows up to give free help? Who gives free help? Because the taxpayers pay for WIC and government assistance. Like who gets anything for free? So Ben Crump is supposed to work for free? Do you know how much paperwork goes into a case like this, from counties to subpoenas to, like, you think it's easy to do law attorney like work in a state like Mississippi? a criminal attorney when they won't give you any information? They won't even give you the autopsy report conducted by the state. Why would you get a criminal attorney right now when there are no suspects? Who are they charging a crime to? The police don't have any suspects. Do you see why they had to get Ben Crump? Because there are no suspects. This young man that was going to go play football on Monday wound up dead in a fucking beach party on the 4th of July, and nobody knows how he got there. I don't understand. You need Ben Crump to bring on criminal charges so that you can charge somebody. But if the state and the county and nobody will budge to do anything for your son, who would you call to help you? I'm just interested in knowing, who do you think she should have called for help? You know, we don't have Martin Luther King. We don't have years and years and years of oppression or oppressing people that look different from us. Like, don't you understand what it's like growing up in the South? Do you know what it's like growing up in the South? Do you know when people say things like what's understood doesn't need to be explained? That's why she called Ben Crump. I mean, didn't the police officer in Mississippi just shoot a 1-year-old baby? Didn't that just happen before Nolan Wells? But now all of a sudden we're not supposed to think this is not weird that a healthy young man that was set to play football on Monday passes away on 4th of July weekend, and out of all of those people that we see on the water, nobody knows what happened to him after 3:30, 4 o'clock? Nobody knows anything? Y'all tripping. Like, that's weird. You know, like, I get wanting to be like, I'm not prejudiced and I don't think, I don't see color. I get that. I'm a mixed person. My mother is white and my father is black. Nobody gets that more than me. But like, the circumstances are highly suspicious and nobody can say that. Like, nobody can say that. If you say that, you're a race baiter. If you say that, you're like anti whatever. Like, nah, that shit is weird. It's weird. And yes, agree to disagree, but I still don't see any names in the chat of who you would call for help with getting justice for your son. Who would we call? We don't have who got OJ Simpson off. What was his name? I mean, maybe the lead attorney can go and help, but lead attorney specialized in divorce, right? Somebody call the lead attorney. Maybe I should call the lead attorney and he can help me when this case gets started. We can talk about this case and what happens in states like Mississippi. I don't know. It's a good idea though, right? I'll think about it. Anyway, Nancy Grace looks hella mean right now. Let's get back to Nancy Grace, okay?
Making the water even more murky. And the COD, cause of death, and MOD, manner of death. That's from our friends at NAACP. What happened to Nolan Wells?
And you know what, Nancy Grace? I very much appreciate you applying pressure the way that you are. The way that he and his family deserves. And what is that they say about pressure? It busts pipes. I guess it busts grifts too.
Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph. And from what was told to me, that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took a polygraph test.
Why do you say that's
test
from
but
what
one.
you understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. From what I understand. Huh? from what I understand. What was it that we said in that last video about media literacy? Pay attention. Pay attention. And granted, whatever it was they said to me, I'm just going to repeat from what I understand.
So they yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying from my understanding. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lie detector test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So
wait a minute. Didn't you just say?
How does that make it better? Yeah, listen to this.
They all took it. They all took it. And now we're excluding Warren. Who's the guy that you talk to?
Who was sounding like a hater, talking about the last time I saw Katie, Nolan was cradling her in his arms. Oh, hating ass. Yeah, allegedly. I don't know. I think I snapped, but that's what he has said during the interview. The last time he saw Katie, she was being cradled. Nolan was cradling her in his arms. It's like, is that what got Nolan hemmed up that day? Allegedly, I don't know, but could be. Could it be?
So how did the others get this understanding that you have that they took a lie detector test? And how often are we going to start excluding somebody? Because it ain't been but 10, 15 seconds. Huh? In another 2 minutes, are you going to exclude everybody?
According to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an
Yes, John. I completely agree with you. And I feel the same way. John says there needs to be a thorough investigation to look at the facts and to find out what happened. I'm not going to say things one way or another because I don't know the facts in the case. Investigation is needed. I totally agree. I agree with you. Until we know, that's why I didn't want to talk about it anymore, because I'm waiting on more facts to come out. What is the grand jury going to look at? What is the grand jury going to say? Why are the medical records being sealed? How much different are they from the second medical examination on Nolan's body? Like, there are a lot of questions that people have about this. And but even in not wanting to say what happened, I just do find it suspicious. If I was a mother and nobody could explain why, when, or how, and then people were acting funny with giving me my son's phone back and giving me my son's car keys to his car back, and then I see the GPS report about the boat going all these different places after the story was told to me one way and now it is another, I would be suspicious of everybody. Even if they told me a perfect story that matched from A to Z, I would still be suspicious, because why the hell did y'all come back and he didn't? What was so different about this time out of the million times that you guys have gone out to hang out with each other? Why is it that this time my son didn't come home? I'm sorry, like, as a parent, you just need to know. You want to know. You have the right to know what happens to your kid, especially when it's not natural causes. I think anybody would be right to want to know what happened. So, yeah, the fact that Officer Tatum is just, being so hyperbolic about, this being Nolan's fault is what really grosses me out, because he doesn't know what happened. He wasn't there, just like any of us. So for him to be making all these claims against Nolan when there's no information, there's no proof, for him to just be going along with Nolan's friends when they're all alive and able to lie, cheat, and steal to this day, but Nolan is dead and his last day was the 4th of July. There's something wrong with this. So I don't appreciate this little thing that he's doing.
Equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I'm sorry, come again.
And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test.
The equivalent of a lie detector? The equivalent of a lie detector test? Nancy Grace, you better get him. You better get him.
But it's the same theology.
Hold up.
Theology.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if the people were telling the truth or not.
Did they take a polygraph would be no.
Not only is the answer to did they take a polygraph no, the answer to did they take fill in the blank is no, because you don't even know the name of what they took. And you don't even know what it does because you sitting there fumbling talking about, I believe it tests other stressors. What, did they have a massage therapist trying to see how much stress was up around the neck? It could have been anything you're talking about. But this is how it goes. From what I understand, we going with a lie detector test that they all pass, from what I understand.
Well, yeah, I think it could be semantics.
I think it could be semantics. See, semantics are kind of two words that roughly mean is you don't even know what they took. So how you don't even know what they took? They could have took a Snickers.
Right.
That ain't semantics with a polygraph test. You have no idea what they took.
I think it could be semantics because they took a test to analyze whether or not they were being truthful in their statements, and that certified test, they passed it.
See, like that. This is so far into like being a Sambo. Like, why do you have to cape this hard? You're just making up lies to prove your point. You should get in trouble for this. Like, seriously, this young man wasn't like robbed at the casino. Like, he was like, he's deleted. Like, he'll never come back. Like, you do not know what happened to him. You do not know. And you're sitting up here saying that these guys, like, why would anybody do this for somebody that is not their own skin and blood? You know, like, why would anybody do this? Just make up lies randomly when you could be lying for serial killers or serial deleters, excuse me. Because you don't know, we don't know who these people are. Like, who are you? Who are you? And I'm just going to get on my YouTube channel and protest my life to the Lord that you are just a good person and that you are just up on the up and up and you didn't murk your friend during the 4th of July celebration on the boat while everybody was allegedly high and boozing. I mean, how can you trust anybody? I'm a parent. So even when it is not serious, they will lie just because they don't want to hear anybody's mouth about the situation. Like, I have a 15-year-old, so I know, you know what I mean? Like, you know, shit just don't, when stuff doesn't sound right, it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't matter if it's big, small. Like, I don't know why, if you're an adult, if you're a parent, you're looking at the story and you're kind of like, okay, guys, what really happened here? Because this isn't making sense. Where did he go if he didn't get on anybody's boat? Why is he passed away? I would think that if you left my son on an island and he knew he couldn't swim back, he would stay there and wait for somebody to come back to get him. And when you went back to get him, you would probably see him dehydrated and tired and sleepy if you went back the next day, but you would still find him alive. So why is it that he has passed away? We can't say, oh, he might have wanted to swim back to shore. No, everybody already knows. And it ain't no swimming back from that little island back to the mainland. That is understood. Of the culture of that town, everybody knows there ain't no swimming back. Just like everybody knows there's no lights here after the sun goes down, which is why everybody left around the same time, around 7, because allegedly the sun went down like 10 minutes to 8 that day. So it's just like, as a parent, objectively, it sounds weird.
just wasn't considered a traditional polygraph. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it.
Brandon Tatum.
You heard that? I think it's a more advanced way. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it. The test that you don't know what it is. The test that you don't know what it does. I think it tests other stressors. The tests that I think it tests other stressors. I don't know. That's more advanced. Is that what we're going with? And keep in mind what it means that this is where they went to share their message.
In a nutshell, Joe Scott, there is a difference between.
Let's pause it right here. Y'all, if y'all know anything about Nolan Wells, call this tip line that's on the screen. Okay, there's a $125,000 reward for information that leads to figuring out what happened to this young man on the 4th of July. He had everything going for him, like everything. So it's just so sad. I mean, God, my stomach just like hurts at the thought. Like, oh.
A polygraph, which measures all sorts of body signals, your sweat, your breathing, your heart, your blood pressure, all sorts of things, and an audio verification test.
Is this guy serious? Is this guy really serious? Yeah, coming to you live from the Valley. Is this guy serious? Saying that it's a matter of semantics? The truth is not about semantics, my friend. Deception is about semantics. That's somebody saying that it's up to your
that was a bar. Did y'all hear that? Deception is about semantics. Ain't it though? Haven't we been seeing a whole lot of deception on YouTube lately between content creators trying to use their editing ways to play semantics and not take the L's that they rightfully deserve? Okay, hold on.
interpretation. Now, there's only one interpretation of the truth, and that's the truth. That's exactly what it is. It's not open for discussion. It's not open for interpretation. Okay, and then on top of that, for this guy to say that he said theology, does he even know what that word means? You're talking about Ben Crump, and you're using words about theology to say that that BS test and a polygraph are of the same theology.
Brandon Tatum is trying to sound important, and he's comparing legal jargon and the arts of law to theology.
Nah, man, this dude's a clown, for real.
Big clown.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I was waiting for him to bring up paleontology. You know, the way she buried him, and she ain't done.
I couldn't imagine that they want to get underage drinking on camera. So what they had articulated to me, that it wasn't abnormal for people not to snap and not to do a lot of pictures and things like that, because they were focused on
But you
being
told me
off of the
they
mainland.
showed you pictures and videos.
Yeah,
so
but
they
it's
did
not
take
uploaded.
pictures and videos.
No. It's not a lot of pictures, and they weren't uploaded. So when you're talking about Snapchat, you're talking about a platform where people are uploading images and pictures to produce to the world. What they showed me were things that they had recorded on their phone, and it wasn't a lot of different things, because most of what they did was drinking and having fun in the water. And so, but what they had articulated to me as well is that it's not abnormal for people not to snap. It's not abnormal for you not to have your phone. And Nolan wasn't the only person that left his phone on the boat. They also mentioned to me, and you could see it in the interview that they did, was that they had no reason to touch Nolan's phone. They weren't thinking about Nolan's phone when they thought the boat was sinking. And when they got to the house, it was no incident when it comes to Nolan getting the phone back to the friend and parent.
She about to snap on his ass. Just listen.
You're going far afield from my question. Let me redirect you back.
Filibustering, saying a whole bunch of nothing, wasting people's time. Look at him smiling like an idiot, like an idiot.
Back to their phones. Nolan has nothing on his phone. They have pictures and videos on their phones. You told me that they exist, whether they posted them or not. So they were taking pictures and videos. Don't you see why the mom, Nolan's mom, is concerned? There's nothing on her son's phone.
Well, Nancy, it's unclear exactly what the mother is articulating.
I think you have Nolan's mother confused with yourself. I think you confuse you.
I agree, Reese Waters. I agree, sir.
With the mother. Because we all unclear on what exactly you are trying to articulate.
Exactly.
Other than the fact that free the white boys. Like, that's literally the only thing.
And they're not even locked up yet. And he's already talking about freedom. Like, it's like, what? Why would you do this?
You are trying to articulate. Quite poorly, I might add. And I would say with the effort, if this is where we are already when it comes to their public defense, you know what I mean? Then in one of them's mother, a judge, and they couldn't get a better advocate than Officer Tatum, the guy who will take your side no matter what. This doesn't prove anything. It's indicting by his presence.
Officer Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no.
Y'all see his face? Y'all see his face?
Okay, sentiment. All right, now you don't want to say stuff like that in the chat because then somebody's going to tell you to put a name on it, and we can't be messy. We got to be good, okay? Don't get me in trouble. But he is acting like a hyena. He is. I agree with that. That I agree with. But look at his face, y'all.
I know that look. I know that look. I know that look. That's the look. That's the look I had when my mama had to pick me up from school when I got suspended in junior high. I know that look. Get him.
No, Nancy, let me clarify this for you. It wasn't that they uploaded this online. They showed me videos and things that they took from the boat during the outing on 4th of July. I was personally out at Horn Island. I rode out there on a boat, and I didn't have great reception.
My question is, why did they delete their social media accounts? What is Officer Tatum's reasoning for that? If they're not guilty, if nothing happened, if everything was on the up and up, why did they feel the need to have to delete their social media accounts? It's like they were trying to get ahead of something.
There, and I left my phone in the boat when I got into the water, and we were actually going out to do interviews.
Objection. You've been in court long enough to know you're gonna get objections.
I'm going to start using that. I'm going to start using that when I interrupt people on panels. I'm going to say objection.
You said you didn't have great reception, but you did have reception, did you not?
I know my verdict. Y'all can keep going with that, but I know my verdict. I know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Fry them up.
The jury will now go off and deliberate on. Get out there. Get out there.
No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great, and it wasn't great enough for people, in my opinion, to
Did y'all see Nancy's face? Hold on, let me show y'all. Hold on, here we go. Watch.
Upload. It just wasn't great. No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great, and it was.
Nancy Grace is like, Ninja, what? So first you said it wasn't no reception. Then you said it wasn't good reception. So which one was it? I mean,
Wasn't great enough for people, in my opinion, to upload. You can make a phone call potentially, but you wasn't gonna upload data to a social media account. Now, could people take the steps to do it if they're dedicated enough? Yes, but it doesn't appear that would have been a frequent thing, given the fact that you probably had 1 or 2 bars out there. And I heard evidence of that. Not only did I see evidence of it when I went out there myself personally with my cell phone, when I listened to the Cito call, you could tell that the call dropped out several times. It seemed like they were having trouble at times hearing each other. So it is consistent. And anybody that travel out there that have gone to the 4th of July celebration, they know that the reception is not very great. So the videos that they showed me in call logs were things that were not associated to social media, that they never posted on social media. It was, pictures and videos that they took on their phone.
Did you just sit there and tell me you could maybe make a phone call, but you're not going to be uploading to a social media account?
I mean, where? Listen, there's been a couple of places where I just did not have cell phone service, okay? One place was when I was at the Barclays Center in New York, and I went to go see Beyonce. I think it was 2015. I went to New York to see Beyonce, and it was the best experience of my life. But when you go to see Beyonce, what do you know as a young lady or an older lady or a young man or an older man who goes to see Beyonce in concert? You can't upload. You're not uploading her concert while she's live. You know you can't. You have to step outside of the Barclays to make a phone call. You have to step outside of the Barclays to send a text message. Once you in there, ain't no text messaging, ain't no uploading, okay? And on a plane, you know, when they disable airplane or when you have to do airplane mode, like those are the only times where I haven't had access to my phone. But on the water, in the air, for the most part, you have access. So what? Like, I don't understand why we're expected to believe that. Children are trying to upload all the time, whether it's to YouTube, whether it's to Instagram. They're trying to upload, they're trying to snap. So even if it doesn't go through, they're still trying to get something uploaded. This is like, we're not in 2001 anymore. This is 2026. It's just ridiculous.
You know, because I had tried to post on 1 or 2 bar. I don't really be calling too much on one.
Yeah, but you have tried to post on 1 or 2 bars. Exactly.
So you just feel like you could just say anything, then, huh? You could just feel like you could just say anything. You know what? I guess for the hourly rate. I guess for the hourly rate. You know, that's how that works. But we all heard this. No, they gonna drag you. They gonna drag you. Nancy Grace to Tatum. You got that right. How he presented himself against Stephen A. Smith, against Nancy Grace.
Okay. So right here, this is the fashion. This is the fashion. All right. So hold on. You see him right here sitting down with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has been on TV probably for as long or longer, probably, than Nancy Grace, right? He's on TV. He's on a major network, right? Like he has major sponsors, I think ESPN, or I can't remember which one he's on now, but he's somebody. Look at the way Brandon Tatum is dressed for Stephen A. Smith. But look at how he was just dressed.
And Pete that. He presented Tatum. But as for the hourly, just say,
okay, hold on. Wait.
I had
right. We'll go back. We'll skip forward.
They never
You
posted
see
on
how
social
he
media.
dressed on
It was
Nancy Grace? Look at him. He got on the sports coat with the freshly pressed. His wife could have did a better job pressing that t-shirt or pressing that button down for him. But nevertheless, he has on a button down with the top coat for Nancy Grace. But
pictures and videos that they took.
But for Stephen A. Smith, I like this one.
Nancy Grace to Tatum. You got that right.
I like that.
How he presented himself against Stephen A. Smith, against Nancy Grace. I did.
So you say that sentiment says, nah, Rose, it's respect levels. Tatum doesn't respect Stephen's platform. He's black. Wow.
Pete that. I did, Pete. You came dressed for court to go on Nancy Grace. You sure did. Oh, he sure enough did, Stephen A. He sure enough did. And you know what? There's no better representation of his complete disregard for the black community on your show, of all people, on your show. And then was trying to invite Benjamin Crump on his platform. Was you going to do that interview shirtless with that level of... That's a daggone shame. Well, as angering and potentially triggering as that might have been for some people, here's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the fact that this is where they went for their defense, and it's looking this shoddy already, and what the ramifications of that are. But I also want to focus on the fact that this man has gone so far down the road with his grip that it has been stripped completely bare. We can all see him now.
Yeah, I think this was a great example of like grifting gone wrong. Like, I don't think it'll change anything because I think that the people that support him are that deranged, but
we've been seeing it for a long time. Now everybody sees it.
Yeah.
There's a whole industry in this country that pays top dollar for one product. A black man willing to tell white audiences that racism is over. And Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum, Employee of the Month, every month.
Yeah.
Listen, from a PR perspective, this man is a masterclass in how to lose a community, okay? Number one, trust. He did his years as a Tucson cop, then built an entire career explaining why every single police shooting was justified. Every single one. That's not just an analysis, okay? That is a subscription to Kundum Come, okay? Kundum Come. Number two, contempt. When Black folks questioned his Nolan Wells coverage, where he interviewed the friend and played judge, jury, and press secretary for the suspect while the investigation was still open, he called his own critics ignorant, melanated people. Sir, rule one in PR, do not insult the audience you claim that you are saving, because that's what you said. Number three, identity for rent. He sat on Stephen A. Smith's panel and announced he's not Black first, he's American first. That's cute. Good to know. Whoever is paying you is buying Black condemnation. That's not courage. That's simply commerce. And never forget, tokens get spent.
This is Brandon Tatum.
Y'all just see what unfunny ex-comedian
I'm using this video in the guise of fair use. We just saw DL Hughley step into the chat. Okay, so y'all know, if you haven't heard, DL Hughley has had some choice words for Officer Tatum for being a Sambo. Though DL Hughley could also be considered questionable. We will hear from D.L. Hughley on Officer Tatum.
D.L. Hughley just said about me, posted a picture of me and my wife. To do what? To be a racist? You are the lamest dude in all of comedy.
Brandon Tatum, you know that's a lie because you be in them right wing, sir. I know you know better. I know you seen what them right wing comedy shows be looking like. So don't even try it with that. And this not going nowhere good. See, that's why you need people in your circle. You don't play with D.L. Hughley. Don't play with D.L. Huh? You end up looking like the people in the crowd during Comic View. Huh? You couldn't pay me to sit in the front row for a Comic View taping of D.L. Hughley.
What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this?
The word.
You cried for a white dude who the people didn't even think you worthy to speak at his funeral.
Oh,
you said you wouldn't cry for your son, but you cried for him.
No. Oh,
that's not emotion.
Oh,
he got you there. He got you there. Not only did you cry when you found out about it, you cried again during the memorial because you was persona non grata. They had to ask you to quiet down so they could finish the service. That's happened. That's what happened.
You talked at the way Benjamin Crump talks.
Just want to blame white folks. And so I go out there because I know that lame Al Sharpton and Mr. I can't read Benjamin Crump is just race hustling, y'all.
You talked about how.
So that's the thing, right? It's like, how is Ben Crump any different from you, Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum? If Benjamin Crump is grifting, aren't you grifting too? I mean, you're not a detective. You're not a subject matter expert in deletion or in psychology or psychiatry. You know, you don't know, you can't speak to the mental wellness of these young men or the dynamic between them. Like you don't know any of these things, but you are doing the same thing Benjamin Crump is doing. At least Ben Crump is actually licensed and classically trained in the art of law, when you seemed not very skilled at going to do interviews with something that you've been learning since what they said you went viral, I think in 2017 or 2018, you've been content creating. I don't know, but it just seems like far-fetched that Ben Crump would be a grifter and you would not be. It's like you guys are the same thing. He's hustling the legal and you're hustling the YouTube content creation, So like to be on such a high horse, like I agree with you, Gray Stroke 8670 says 2 Sambos arguing over who's the best Sambo. Yes, I have the next video I have queued up to talk about Officer Tatum is actually Dr. Claude Anderson explaining what a Sambo is. I think I might just play that video because the video that I wanted to discuss, I can't find anymore. And I'm wondering if the person took it down because it might have gotten flagged. But we'll still talk about what I was saying, and I'll still show you the funny outfit thing, fashion faux pas thing that I wanted to show y'all later as the funny. But yeah, let this play a little bit.
Those boys are innocent. You had proof. Now, I don't know whether they're innocent or not. I don't know what happened there. But I know one conversation with a failed football player and a social media influencer is not the predicate. You don't have any toxicology report. You don't have an autopsy report. You talked about black people acting a fool. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that took 31 years and 3 trials to prosecute and find guilty the murder of Medgar Evers. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that in 2005 found 215 black people that were dead and buried in a pauper's grave, and nobody knew they were there.
Yeah.
Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that just killed a 1-year-old boy and nobody's being brought to account. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that has been poisoning black people with the water since the 1960s. Black people didn't look for this fight. They want justice. All they want is accountability. And if it's those boys, it should be that.
Yeah. And no, listen, if it would have been 6 or 4 or 5 young black men with Nolan on boats, we would be the same way. Just like when it was Shanquella Robinson and it was her 4 or 5 friends who came back from her trip, her vacation, and she was deleted or had passed on. You know, we wanted to hold them accountable, and they were black just like Shanquella. This isn't about race. At least for us, it's not about race. For us, we just want to know what happened to this young man. What happened to him? Just like we wanted to know what happened with Shanquella Robinson. What happened to her? You go hang out with your friends in Mexico and you don't come home. You're damn near decapitated. Wow. What happened to you? Nolan Wells, you out there celebrating the 4th of July before you go to football camp on Monday? And you don't come home, you end up washed up on the shore, deleted or passed on, not from natural causes. What happened to you? Either way, if the children would have been purple, if the children would have been green, if the children would have been whatever color, teal, pick your favorite color, we still would want to know why those 4 came back and my son, the 5th child, didn't. What happened to him? That's all we want to know. We want to know what happened to him, and then we want to hold whoever accountable for why he has passed on. We want them to be held accountable. I don't think that there is anything wrong with that. So, yeah, it's not about color. It's about accountability. Those kids were with him, so we're looking at them. Whether they're white or black, we're looking at them. They were the last people to see him. We're looking at them. What the fuck did they do? What do they know? What are they covering up? As a parent, the story don't make no fucking sense to me. And if you don't want it to be Ben Crump to be helpful, throw a name in the comments section of who you think would do a better job than Ben Crump, that you know that could get public attention for this woman, that is an actual attorney. Don't say Reverend Al Sharpton. Can't say Jesse Jackson anymore. Can't say John Lewis anymore. So who the hell do you suggest? Throw a name in the comment section. Ben Crump is out. Cool. Who do we support? Whose name do we throw into the hat? I'll gladly support him if it will help justice for Nolan Wells. Okay? Like, that's just simple and plain.
Nobody has a predetermined notion. I don't know what happened. But if you're saying that that Al Sharpton and that Benjamin Crump are on one side, you're certainly on the other. You talk to them for 2 days and all of a sudden you know if they're guilty. You know if they're innocent. Right. You know that?
No.
Your name is, your moniker is Officer Tatum, not Detective Tatum. You didn't make your way to detective.
He was eating.
You're an influencer who says what white people want you to say. And don't you find it interesting that they chose to speak to you, and they chose to speak to you for the same reason that you're a conservative, for the same reason Turning Point did, because you're safe. They know you're a black man who'll do what he's told. You're an unremarkable black man who they know they can count on to be obedient. They pick you for the same reason they pick dogs.
T.L. Hughley, don't insult dogs like that. Dogs did nothing. Dogs did nothing to deserve being
I agree. Dogs did nothing to deserve
associated with Brandon Tatum, but touche. And I absolutely love what he said about the predetermined notions that he has in his head that he's pushing forward. Because let's keep in mind What we're looking for is transparency. Transparency and clarity, which has not been granted since day one of this story going viral. And that's indicting, because if transparency could clear everybody's name, you would be running to show that evidence.
What is very interesting to me is this is Nancy Grace.
I left to believe that he goes out swimming all on his own, and the friend girl leaves, the mates from school leave, everybody just leaves him out in the water and he dies.
Now, Nancy Grace is a career prosecutor. She has tried 100 felony trials, 100, and not lost one. And she thinks that's something suspicious. But the social media influencer who failed at football and was a mediocre cop all of a sudden knows more than that. I don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. But I do know this. You said that a young woman with a pot of water acted so suspiciously that she should be shot by cops.
I think that this is justified, but it could have been avoided, but still justified. You can't throw boiling water on a police officer and not get shot.
Which, by the way, was proven not to be the
No, he didn't say that that lady that got pow-powed by that police officer in her own house while she was boiling water, that the cop was justified in deleting her and then calling her the B word after he deleted her. I mean, wow, man, this dude has he is lower than a snake.
The case, which was proven not to be the case. And I don't think we've heard Brandon Tatum fall back from any of his Sonia Massey takes. And he certainly didn't give the money back neither.
But you don't think people that want to vote with somebody in proximity to somebody and that person comes that day acting so suspicious they should be questioned? That's who you are. Debate you for what? What you are is what the people before you, you're Diamond and Silk, you're Candace Owens, you're Stacey Dash, you're that. And your career will age like avocados because that's what they do. There'll be somebody else that replaces you. I've been around for 40 years doing what I do, and you still know my name. You know how I got to know yours? Somebody sent me a alert.
Hey, why y'all didn't? I signed up for that. I swear I don't be getting my notifications, man. DL, sign me up, man.
They said, and you fit the bill. I don't know who you are, but I know what you are. I know what you do because I've seen people like you in my entire life. You can assail my career, but my career is longer than your life. You mentioned my name and I have no idea who you are. But I do know this, that one day when all of this is done, and it'll be after the next election cycle, when people are wondering who you are, when you go the way of the Larry Elders or the Sheriff Clarks or the Candace Owens or the Diamond and Silks or the Stacey Dashes or the Armstrong, like all of them, when you're there with them and you're wondering what happened, it's because you sold your soul for nothing.
Let me just say this, and I know people are going to clip this and get back, and I don't care. I really feel this way. I'm getting sick of black people. Right. I like the black people like me and others that are conservative, that's smart. But the rest of y'all, I'm sick of y'all. It's hard to even want to be around black people, to be honest.
I have never once, and I've had a disagreement with a lot of black people that I've had disagreement, but I've never once had to make a video explaining I don't hate black people.
I do not hate black people. I know that people who are new to my channel and you see people out there making these videos, it's comical to me because I don't understand how accountability leads to hate.
You said you can't teach me. You can't make me hate white people. You said that.
You want me to hate white people. I'm not doing it.
My question isn't making you hate white people. I don't want that at all. What I want to know is who the fuck taught you to hate us?
I believe it was Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Alexander Hamilton, Andrew Jackson.
Them coins, them $.
I don't know who won no other bills. I ain't seen nothing higher than a 20. Except on a computer. So I don't know who on no other bills. I believe that is the answer. I believe that is the answer. But here is the thing, though, that is so fascinating. The best way to maintain a grift is to keep it just below the surface so that it can go on and on and on. And you can grift outside of prying eyes, out of plain sight, maybe in plain sight for years. That is how you sustain a grift.
Okay, so leaving it on this note, and thank you very much to Reese Waters for creating this funny video. I thought it was fascinating. I gave you a like. I'm linking your video in the description of this video to all of my subscribers and people who might watch this video on the replay. Please go and subscribe to Mr. Reese Waters. He is hilarious, and I find him to be extremely funny. Also share this video with someone if you think that they will find it entertaining and interesting. I did like how he gave his commentary on the Brandon Tatum debacle, because he has gone very viral lately with his take on this young man's passing. And I find it very unfortunate that, you know, he's putting the parents through hell. I heard on internet streets that the mom is taking it super hard. So prayers out to Nolan Wells' family, despite all of the publicity people shitty ass Brandon Tatum is getting. You know, I do hope that they get justice for that young man, because I know I would want it for my son. And I think that all of you rosebuds, if this was your son, you would want justice for him too. So like I said, it's not about, you know, the kids being black or white. The mom just wants to know what the hell happened to her son, just like we all wanted to know what the hell happened to Shanquella Robinson. And we still want to know what the hell happened to Shanquella. And all of her friends were black, you know? So it can happen to either one of our children or our grandchildren, our nieces or our nephews. Some wild ass shit like this can happen. So we should all be wanting to get down to the bottom of what happened to Nolan Wells. Okay. Shout out to you, Ree Pink. It's been a long time. I'm glad to see you. Hey, sister. Hey, it's good to see you. What's up, Square Biz? It's good to see you too. Thank you so much for the Cash App, or not the Cash App, but the Super Chat. I have something for Super Chat, Square Biz. Let me play this for you. I think it's funny. I hope you think it's funny too. So I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much, Square Biz, one of my A1s from day one. And Mr. Walker is in the building, or was in the building. Hey, Mr. Walker, it's good to see you. Mr. Walker has been a member for 11 months. I appreciate all of your support always, Mr. Walker. I miss you, brother. I hope all is well with you and the family. Yeah, so yes, it's good to see all of y'all. Thank you for anybody who has liked the video and sent a little donation to the channel. I appreciate y'all so much. So thank you for that. I wanted to check something before we move on to the next thing. Yeah, so I wanted to talk. So there was a video I wanted to play, but I'm not going to play the video because I went back to look for one of the other content creators that also covered this same video that I wanted to play. And now his video isn't there anymore. And shout out to Tabitha Scott for sending me a $10 Cash App. I did get a Cash App. Thank you, Tabitha Scott. I appreciate you so much. I think I saw her in the chat. Tabitha was definitely in the chat. Thank you, Tabitha, so much for blessing me with a Cash App today. I appreciate you. And thank you to the Genius CEO who just sent me a $5 Cash App. I appreciate you so much, CEO. And I appreciate you also, Tabitha. I have a drop for Cash Apps. Let me drop you my Cash App drop. Hold on one second. All right. This is for my Cash Apps, y'all. That's the little dance I want to do for y'all when I get a Cash App. I'm like, oh, snap, I got a Cash App. And shout out to CDT Beats for the music. I have a new song to use, but yeah, I got to work on what I want my intro and outro to look like. I need some help. So yeah, somebody's got to help me, but I got to figure out what I want first. So anyway, this content creator was Mr. Reese Waters. Thank you, Mr. Reese, for your amazing video. We appreciate you so much for your content. But you know how we were talking about how Brandon Tatum got kind of like dressed up when he was with Nancy Grace, and then he was kind of like dressed in a t-shirt and a gold chain when he was with Stephen A. Smith. So I had watched that video earlier in the morning today. And then as I was eating my lunch, I typically like, I don't get to like listen and watch at the same time. So during my lunch break, I could listen and I can watch at the same time. So anyway, I was watching this one video and I'm going to show y'all this one. I'm not going to play the video, okay? Because I don't know these people. I don't want to get in trouble and I don't want to get flagged. I don't want to get flagged. Hold on, wait. Shoot. Okay, so that's the Nancy Grace one. Okay, before we go to the funny video, let me play this one here. Okay, so remember we were just talking about Claude Anderson we were just talking about Sambos in the last video. I'm sorry. The Reese Waters video on Brandon Tatum, we were talking about Sambos, or rather Uncle Toms, or people that are considered to be raccoons, right? And sometimes people confuse the word raccoon to mean Uncle Tom. And this video came up obviously because it's about Brandon Tatum. I am subscribed to this content creator, but I didn't pick this one because I felt the other one was more entertaining for my audience, but I did feel like he dropped a lot of great gems in the videos that he picked on Claude Anderson and some of the references that he writes down in his notebook. This young man
Already know on this channel, you know, this racist system accountable because of.
So wait, let me tell you who, I forget his name. His name is the Introverted Rockstar, or Introvert Rockstar. Let me subscribe to him. I watch a lot of his stuff. I didn't know I wasn't subscribed. Okay, so this video is Dr. Claude Anderson warned us about Officer Tatum. I think he brings up some great points, but he has some really great clips of Dr. Claude Anderson talking about the type of man Brandon Tatum is.
We don't, who will? And if you don't like it, get to stepping because it ain't gonna stop. Now run a tape.
1952, a lady named Harriet Beach Stover wanted to write about it. So she then wrote about the whole thing. She interviewed a guy whose name was Henderson, what you all know as Uncle Tom. He then told about the story. She wrote a book called Uncle Tom's Cabin. But in that book, contrary to what most people think, Uncle Tom was not the bad guy. The bad guy was Sambo. And so I'm asking you all as my brothers and sisters, please in the future, don't call a black guy who you know is worthless and trifling. Don't call him an Uncle Tom. That's complimenting him. Call him his real name, what he's entitled to, and that's a Sambo. Any black person, any black person sells his own people out and will do them in, he is a Sambo.
Thank you.
Now, what is a Sambo again? Going back to meritorious manumission 1710, the whole conditioning process, the whole brainwashing system, the whole social engineering system says that you must teach black people to see the world through the eyes of whites. You must see everything through their eyes. You must accept their values, their superiority, whatever they think and feel, and that way we got you contained. And that's why when you see somebody like Colin Powell running for office, they say, well, you can run for office if you see the things the way we want to see them. If you want to be conservative, you can run for office.
No.
If you want to place a lot of importance on abortion, you can run for office.
No.
If you want to talk about being anti-taxes, you can run for office, which means if you see things the way we see them as a black person, you're safe. You're acceptable. And if you don't want to do that way, then become an athlete or an entertainer. So therefore, you identify the rest of those blacks in the country. You stay away from them. They're bad. And you start going on, you try to go get a penny out of an athlete and entertainer, do something for the black community. They're going to do it. Their advisors won't let them do it. The agents won't do it.
And what is the first thing y'all say when something goes down and nobody's saying anything, right? You say, why isn't LeBron saying anything? Why isn't LeBron saying anything? Well, guess who stepped in to help the Nolan Wells case? Colin Kaepernick. He stepped in and decided to pay for Nolan Wells' second autopsy to be done, one that was like done outside of the state of Mississippi to a more, I guess, potentially biased examiner or unbiased examiner, rather, excuse me.
The promotion people let them do it, they're going to identify with your community because again, they have now already died and gone to heaven.
Dr. Clark Anderson warned Black Americans to judge leaders by who strengthens the community. He described the historical Sambo as someone who, in his view, turns against their own people to serve white power. Make that make sense. And in the words of Johnny Taylor, everything's out in the open. There is nothing left to hide. And Dr. Clark Anderson was right. Officer Raccoon, he loves tap dancing for Massa over and over and over again. And from line
Y'all remember last week when Crispy was up there dancing on the soapbox? Like, y'all saw that, right, everybody? Does everybody remember?
in my comment section tell me I'm lying. But this not his first rodeo. This the same dude that cried for Charlie Kirk when he got popped. You big dummy. But don't even worry about it. That whole sundown town is going to turn on him one by one. But we'll talk about that.
Does anybody in the chat know what a sundown town is? And if you do know what a sundown town is, everybody, let me know in the comment section. Do you know what a sundown town is? And if you do know what it is, can you name a sundown town? I would love to hear or see y'all drop sundown town names in the chat. And if you don't know what a sundown town is, look it up and tell me the one that you live close to. Okay?
Later on in this video. So before I spaz out, when Officer Raccoon was a baby raccoon, Dr. Clark Anderson warned us, bro. Man, run the tape.
So when Harriet Beecher Stowe put out her book, what she tried to tell black folk is that Uncle Tom was not a bad guy. See, Uncle Tom, you read that book, and most blacks, 90% of blacks never read it. They always call another black, he's an Uncle Tom, he's an Uncle Tom. He's not an Uncle Tom. If you read the book Uncle Tom was a guy who would not beat black women. Uncle Tom, that book, was a guy who would not beat other blacks to make them pick more cotton. Uncle Tom was a guy who would come in at night and take cotton out of his own bag and put it in other black folks' bags so they wouldn't get whippings at night. Uncle Tom was a guy who would not tell where black folk were hiding when they went across the river and they broke free as slaves. But Simon Legree, the white slave master, had a black that followed him around named Sambo. who always says, you show me, give me the right, I'll show you how to treat, I'll show you where they hide. And see, that's the guy. See, his role responsibility is going back to meritorious manumission. I told you about when you got to protect white folks' property and protect their wealth. He says, I will protect it and find it for you. And that's why you read in those in the movies and books that came out after Uncle Tom, you always had a black guy, a black slave was running down the road saying, Master, master, here comes the army. Let's hide our silver and gold. And you all say, our? How did it get to be our? You know, he always want to say something that doesn't even belong to him. And that showed up all through history. And today you got the same kind of personality doing it. And now he's not saying let's hide our silver and gold. He's called himself a conservative. I'm also against affirmative action for black folk. I'm against quotas. I'm against preferential treatment. Even had one running around talking about he want to pass a law to stop black folk from discriminating against whites. You still got that kind of personality that always wants to protect something, protect the strong. You always got that kind of Sambo personality. And nowadays, the best way to get rich is to say, I'm gonna practice that masters gold and silver, and I'm gonna be against them black folk. I guarantee.
Don't you think that is exactly what Officer Tate is doing? People like Tommy Sotomayor are doing. They sit down with really questionable, white podcasters, like Jake Shields for controversial discussions about race and culture and identity. And the whole entire time, they're just putting their own race down. And this interview that Tommy just did with Jake Shields, there were things that I wanted to talk about and show you that he said in the interview that was just really, really, really crazy to me. I mean, literally out of control, like that Black women have higher testosterone than other women. And like, when we're having these debates and we're talking about these kinds of topics, like when you say things that are so outlandish like that and you don't produce any kind of research, you say something like that and you give no reference to where you got that data, and it's to me, it's gobsmacking because you're sitting there doing this with a white man talking about your own people as if your mother, your sister, your daughter isn't a Black American woman, like you're so willing to go into these kinds of arenas, so to speak, to sit down with such a controversial person that has said some really outlandish things, and you feel like that's okay, like to sit down and dog your race out with some MMA fighter. To me, that's kind of like, it's weird. Like you're not going there to say, like, you already know the disparity that Black people have, right? And that that all we want is accountability and equal standards. Like that's literally all Black people want, is they all want equality and equal standards, right? Like just basic, the same human rights that everybody else wants, right? Are there ratchet people? Are there ghetto people? Are there pieces of crap people? Yes, there are, right? But he doesn't go there, to talk about, the Black standards, like, the Black standards that his family might have had, as to like why he is where he is today, we want them to be held accountable, and we want equalness between everyone, right? And it's not like a Black standard or a white standard or a Latino standard, the same standard for everybody. You know, I on the surface, when he says that, I agree with that part, right? That's like kind of like the dichotomy of like liking and then not liking a person like Tommy, because like they do say some really great things sometimes, but it's like, if you're going to like criticize bad behavior, then criticize bad behavior, because when you bring up things like essay or the touching of children or things like that, and you constantly always want to push it over off on Black people and never want to hold account white statistics in those areas, it seems to just like undermine your message. And that's where it just starts falling apart for me. That's why I just can't get with it. I can't get with it anymore. That's why, like, I've been followed off the bandwagon, and I just never paid him any attention anymore, because I just wrote him off as a freaking creepy, kooky person. You know what I'm saying? But like, the more he keeps like coming around here and dredging up drama and starting drama, around me or any of my working buddies, it just like makes me want to like double back and like what is he talking about? Why would anybody call him to their podcast? Oh, because he goes over there and he does the raccoon tap dance. Got it. Understood. Right. But when he says things that, he wants equal standards, he says it, and it sounds good enough to get you invited to the show. But then when you actually get into the crust of what he is actually seething with down deep inside, he just wants to be white. It just comes off as like he is sad that he's not a white man, that he's so because of that, he has to be a Sambo in my eyes.
I can get you a radio talk show. I can get you a television show. I can even get you an appointment to the Supreme Court. Okay? You tell me how many Black folk you want to sell out, and I guarantee I'll show you how to make money.
Officer Tatum is a conservative commentator who has questioned systematic racism, opposed affirmative action, and emphasized personal responsibility over structural barriers. Critics argue these positions harm Black communities while supporters disagree. Make sense. See, I noticed something about racist people and raccoons. They never talk about white on white crime. They never talk about white on Black crime. I mean, just a couple months ago, bro, you had police officer in Mississippi, Hunter Foster. He murdered a 1-year-old baby, bro. He not in prison. Where is the outrage, man? Just the other day in Idaho, you had a Caucasian man that murdered his own people at an In-N-Out restaurant. Where is the outrage, man? Trey Reed was found dangling from a tree in front of his school.
Man, you guys, I think this was a young man that was found hanging from a tree in front of the college that he went to with 2 broken legs. How do you delete yourself by hanging yourself from a tree with 2 broken legs? Like, what the hell? But you don't hear people like Officer Tatum or Tony or Tommy Sotomayor or Crispy or whatever you want to call him. You don't ever hear people like that say anything about these cases. Or if they do, they find some weird twisted way to make it the victim's fault, just like Officer Tatum is trying to make this thing that happened to Nolan's fault. Like, shame on y'all. Shame on you.
In front of his campus in Mississippi. Where is the outrage, man? Mr. Ronald Green from Louisiana was handcuffed, tied up, bro, and beaten to death by 5 Caucasian Louisiana troopers, and they never went to prison. Where is the outrage, bro? When Black women go to hospitals, man, and they get murdered by these doctors murder their babies on purpose while they in labor. Where is the outrage, bro? I can go on and on, man. But every raccoon has an origin story, man. So let's travel back in time right quick. Check this out. Some critics argue that after his football career did not lead to the NFL, Officer Tatum built his brand as a conservative commentator. They speculate that his drive for success and competition with other successful members of his family influenced that path. Make that make sense. And in the words of Teddy Penn,
I'm gonna let because he was getting very passionate. Seeing videos like this makes me want to go into teaching. Like I think I could like go teach at some community college. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that, doing like summer reading classes at one of the community colleges around here, maybe for the summer next year. So maybe y'all will hear about that. But I would love to do like a creative reading or creative writing class and like have my students talk at me like that with their presentations. That really gets me crunk. But I like this guy. His name again is Introvert Rockstar. I think we covered him once before. I am now subscribed to him. I'm going to definitely also leave the link to this video in the description so that you guys can go back and see his videos. He's always this passionate in his videos, so you're always going to be entertained, and you're also going to learn something, because I don't know if this is his working style or if he is in fact in school and these uploads are for his dissertation or maybe his final school project. But he has over 164,000 subscribers, and I really like him. I just subscribed, so you guys go give him a like, a share, or a follow. Okay, so let me put this up there and come back here and make myself bigger. I have to remember to do that. Hi, y'all. So let me see what this chat is saying. What's up, homie? It's good to see you. Hey, Cosina. It's good to see you. She says he's creepy and he's kooky. He's creepy and he's kooky. Yeah. And we're heading into October. It's almost time to put up the Christmas tree, everyone. Anyway, it's good to see you, Cosina. What's up, Florida, Tampa Bay 303? He says bingo. Yep. Dead on, right? We love some Claude Anderson. All of the deadbeat white fathers also not paying child support. Exactly. Not to mention what they do when they end up losing everything, deleting their whole families. I mean, they never want to talk about that. You know, do Black men delete their whole families when they lose their job? You know, like many of them do when they start losing their livelihoods. They start going crazy and deleting their families. Like, I wonder what the statistics are in that. It's like, it's so easy to pick out like the statistics that work for your argument, but why don't you educate yourselves on the ones that actually go against what you're saying? That would make you a better debater. Anyway, it is sad, Cosina. No, could never teach math. Could definitely teach history. I have to lean towards the language arts. Like or I could do earth sciences. I could do earth sciences or literature. I like literature. So I'm going to be really, literature or history, like, is my favorite. Like, they would love me as a professor. Professor Rose, like, what? Y'all, I'll be walking in there with my little outfits on. They would love me. Not those teacher outfits, but like, you know, my good work outfits, like my good top coats and my collar shirts and, you know, my saucy cat eye readers, not the glasses I wear for y'all. Anyway, okay, so before I let y'all go, I said I was going to show y'all something funny. So I was going to show y'all this. Let me go to this playlist over here. Sorry, I have to do this because I put it down because I noticed that other video was deleted on Poetic Flacco's page. And if he deletes something, I'm just going to stick to, I'm going to follow his lead. I don't want to get in trouble. Okay. So this video here, All right. All right. So let me pause it. Hold on. Okay, wait. All right. So this video here, this is petty. So I mean, if you're here, then you're probably one of my A1s from day one, right? So I'm about to share this video with y'all. And it's from 1 year ago. And it's from the Hodge twins. We're not going to watch the video. I'm just going to show you a still from the video, okay? So we're not going to watch the video. This is just me being petty, making an observation because people keep messing with me and they're being mean to me. So I'm just paying it forward. Tommy, he's on the Hodge twins right here. This was a year ago. And, we were talking about how Officer Tatum puts on his Sunday's best, when he goes to talk to like other conservative spaces, you know what I'm saying? And so I guess in this space, this is a conservative space. And a year ago, this is what Tommy wore to this right here, to speak with the Hodge twins. You see, he has on the cute little dad pullover and pullover sweater. Like this is probably, I'd say Macy's or Dillard's, could be Burlington Factory. It could be, I don't know. No judgment on that because I think it's actually a cute sweater and it's a cute button down underneath it. I like the contrast, right? Saucy. It's a little giving dad vibes. I like a dad vibe. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is that. This was a year ago on the Hodge twins. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing this. He's like always talking shit about people. So I'm going to talk shit about him. And I wouldn't have recognized this if Reese hadn't said something when I was on my lunch break. And I was like, well, what did Officer Tatum wear, in the interview with Nancy Grace? And how did he look when he was, with Stephen A. Smith? So I rewinded it and I saw what he had on with Nancy Grace was the top coat and the button down shirt. And then when he was on Stephen A. Smith, he had on a t-shirt. Now, when I see Tommy, usually he has on a t-shirt and a baseball cap and he's like yelling at us and cussing us out and doing all this stuff to us, right? Usually. But then hold on. He was just recently, hold on, let me go back. He was just recently, I told you, on the Jake Shields show, right? He was on the Jake Shields show. Hold on, let me go back to it because damn, I done clicked out of the thing, so I have to go back. And I think that video was like, he did that video. Wait. Dang, I'm going too fast. Okay. Here we go. So on this video was done 13 days ago. So he sat down with this guy named Jake Shields, and it's Jake Shields' Fight Back podcast. That's what it's called. He did this podcast 12 days ago. I'm going to show you what he had on. Hold on. I'm going to show you what he had on. And it says, Tommy Sotomayor's controversial takes on Black culture, white guilt, and racial victimhood. So he's there being hyperbolic. And you guys see, just keep watching. Hold on. Oh. see it, y'all? Do y'all see it? Oh my God. Do y'all see it? So this was done 13 years ago. So a year ago, he just put on the same shirt and the same sweater, and he just got on there acting like a Sambo. And just acting like a Sambo, said some wild, crazy stuff on this interview. I mean, talking about all kinds of crazy things. I just, to me, no, it was 3 days ago, not 13 years ago. I'm sorry. 13 days ago, he had on this sweater doing the Jake Shields interview. But a year ago, when I just showed y'all the video, that was from the Hodge twins. The video before that was from a year ago. Okay. So it seems about right that every year around this time, Tommy's going to have on this sweater and this collar shirt. Yeah. And the earrings are pretty fancy. He get up there talking about how ghetto and ratchet Black women are, and he up there with wannabe 5-carat diamond earrings in his ear like R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? It's like the audacity to talk about the thing you out there representing. And you know that these folks be having a good time talking about Tommy when he finally leave their radio station or their podcast setup. It's like, because in this interview with Jake Shields talks about white YT men. He talks about liberal YT men. And he says like all of these like weird things, like wash my feet. And like, it's like things that I don't understand. Like it's way over my head because I don't watch these shows. I don't know anything about them, but if we should judge people just off of who they are as an individual, then by all means, yeah, that's cool. I love that for us, of course. Just like the lady said in the beginning of the video tonight, do you, if it works for you, then it works for you. You want to be trans, right? It's just we're not going to excuse your bad behavior. We're not, just because you're trans doesn't mean we're just going to allow you to do anything you want. Fair has to be fair. Yeah, you can do and live however you want to live. It doesn't mean that we're going to recognize somebody that's been walking around for 35 years with testosterone. We're not going to recognize you as a full, complete woman. We can't. But live how you want to live, right? Like, we're not excusing bad behavior because somebody is Black. Like I just said, we want to know what happened to Shanquella Robinson the same way we want to know what happened with Nolan Wells. Shanquella Robinson passed away on a vacation with 4 or 5 of her friends that were Black. We still want to know what the hell happened to Shanquella Robinson, just like we still want to know what the hell happened to Nolan Wells when he was out there on the boat with his friends that happened to be white. Like, we don't just assume somebody is lazy or somebody is crazy based off the color of their skin. We allow for their actions to show us, and then that is proof for us to go ahead and call them lazy or crazy or whatever, right? We're not just assuming somebody is racist because they're white. But this is a man that gets on podcasts with other white men praising white people, yet calls me white as an insult. You see, like the man literally has no spine. And to me, I mean, in my own judgment, in my own opinion, I just don't think that he has a spine, and he lacks consistency. And to me, he's a weirdo in my eyes. Like, there were so many people that unsubscribed to me for last week's drama with him, but I looked at it like, you know, like this is not my tribe, this is not my people. I shouldn't have to explain that this is some of the stuff that this man does is crazy. You know, being mad at somebody because they identify with some of Tariq Nasheed's talking points or thinks that Tony Hinchcliffe is wrong for using George Floyd's name in a joke at a roast for Kevin Hart. Like, these are things to me that are just like, what's it to you to keep dragging this out and picking on people? You know, so since everybody's catching strays, and so they want to keep, you know, throwing shade out there from their spokespeople, you know, that get cussed out by Fatty, you know, if I'm up for grabs, then fuck it, right? we just gonna do this. This what we gonna do then, okay? But yeah, yeah. So, you know, if you have principles, then you should stand on them for the most part. And that's kind of just, I'm not perfect, but, you know, for the most part, like there's a level of lowness that I'm not willing to go. I just stop. You know, I just like, if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good. Like I'm just gonna stop, right? But yeah, this interview here that he did with Jake is crazy. I'm gonna tell y'all some of the things that he said. You know, it was most gay men were molested, is what he said in this interview with this guy named Jake Shields. Yeah, he just put out a huge claim that most gay men were molested. And I think when he cussed me out, he said something about him also being molested, which I didn't understand at the time. But now it kind of like, I'm starting to understand why he might act the way he acts. Not that I excuse it, but I said earlier that he said that Black women have higher testosterone in this interview with Jake Shields. You know, that's crazy because it's like, when I go to PubMD, PubMed is basically where all doctors that conduct research, they put their research on this website for free so people like us can read it. Now, you might not be able to read the whole entire article. For some you have to pay. But I could not find anything that showed that Black women have more testosterone than any other group of women. Like, a woman is a woman. Okay, which and that is weird. He has a daughter, and I don't know if he has grandchildren yet. But the thing, when you put things out like this, like, it doesn't excuse you from receiving the harm that you're doing. So even though you're not a woman, you're not having a baby anytime soon, when your daughter goes to have a baby one day, they might say, oh, you're not really in pain. Oh, that doesn't really hurt, because she has higher testosterone than Nancy across the hall or Becky next door. Like, this can affect you. Like, do grifters ever think that, like, the things that they are saying could come back to bite them or haunt them? It's weird, but I don't even really think this is grifting. At this point, I think it's mental illness. And then they talk about IQ and race, which, again, Tommy, it's like, do you even know? It's like, do you even know that he feels like he has a higher IQ than you because he's YT and you're BK or BLACK? Do you get that? Like when you sit down and you have these conversations and you're so willing to throw yourself under the bus, like is the mirror that you're looking at yourself through of you as a white man? Because when you talk about race and IQ, like you know that they use race and IQ to belittle and demean us. Like you do know that. But that was weird to me in the interview. They made a comment about how George Floyd passed away from fentanyl, which was really crazy to me because there was literally the state medical examiner testified that that was a homicide caused by, they said, restraint during a law enforcement subdual, while noting underlying health conditions and drug use as contributing but not sole factors. So just because you might have hit a blunt 2 days ago, or in other people's cases, hit a bottle of whiskey or cognac or whatever you drink, just because that's in your system doesn't mean that alcohol played any part in that officer putting the knee on the back of his neck and restricting his ability to breathe. Like, I'm sure the fentanyl would have killed him eventually, but it didn't kill him that day, or at least that is not what the medical examiner testified to. So if you want things to be fair and equal, fairly in the court of law, a medical examiner testified to those facts. Those are facts. Those are not opinions. Okay. So yeah, it was the federal civil rights trial also examined extensive medical testimony before reaching its verdict. So these people mold and mold and mold over this medical examiner's report. Okay, so you can debate things, but you can't say that it was just fentanyl that killed him. Like, that's crazy. Like that's literally that's what he's saying in this interview here with Jake Shields. It's crazy. He talks about international or interracial crimes, lynching, and just made just crazy comments, y'all. Crazy. Yeah, he has no shame. And he has nobody to dress him. And while he's talking about other people's hamburger funds, it seems like he needs some hamburger funds to thoughtfully be able to like plan his wardrobe out, because I haven't seen anybody wearing the same combination the same way, the same shirts, unless they're like one shirt, a 2-in-1 shirt. But no, like these are pretty big podcasters you're going to, Tommy. You might as well invest in a stylist. You got plenty of hoes. Tell them to pick you out something to wear, something nice. I don't know. But yeah, this guy here, Rosebuds, I just think that, what are we going to do? I don't want any of you guys to feel like you need to pick a side, but I can have my rightful thoughts and feelings about somebody that is mean to me. Somebody that's mean to me, somebody that is working to get other people on their side to do their dirty bidding, like CJ throwing me up into the conversation with Fatty on Saturday after I was kind enough to apologize to him when we were supposed to have a debate about 2.5 months ago. I'm so glad that I did not participate in doing a debate with CJ, because although he tried to say that he was just going to keep the debate on topic, I know and I knew in my heart that he wasn't going to. So, no big deal. I was willing to, actually bury the hatchet like I said I would. And that's why I apologize. But when you were talking to CJ on Saturday during his live broadcast, you literally took a breath to say that you were going to throw a low blow, and then you decided to throw me under the fucking bus. So that was lame. And I just want to say that here. So, like you said, if I'm up for grabs, then you are too, CJ. Yeah. But I'm going to keep it educational. If we can learn from your mistakes, then we will, but we shouldn't be taking anybody's word for it. We shouldn't be taking Officer Tatum's word for it. We shouldn't be taking Tommy Sotomayor's word for it. When it comes to these topics and the things that are going on in life and in business, like, we got to take situations, as they are, and we have to use the history, of similar instances when we're in these situations to kind of lead the way. That's just what we do as humans. We use knowledge that we've previously learned to make smarter, wiser, better decisions in the future. Okay, that's how we survive. So it's not wrong to recognize patterns and call them out. It's not wrong. I just wanted to say that. But that's it for my show tonight, Rosebuds. I hope that you guys had a little bit of fun with me, learned a little bit of something. I look forward to learning more about the WNBA. Yeah, everybody's tired. The dog is ready to go out. My computer stopped working. Yeah, but that's my show tonight, Rosebuds. Thank you so much. South 343 Beats LLC. Thank you for my 2 jewels, a silver star. I appreciate you. And shout out to Def the Reaper. You've been a member for 4 months. Yes, please hit the like button for me, guys. Please, please, please. I appreciate y'all coming over here. And Tommy is the greatest YouTuber. I'm sure this is Tommy. I'm sure this is Tommy himself, y'all. Oh, thank you so much. Florida, Tampa Bay 303. Thank you for subbing to me. I love the state of Florida. I was literally just in Miami, went to the Bahamas. Love, 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 love Miami. Love Florida. Was just in Orlando too. Took my kids to Universal Studios. Thank you for subscribing to me. I hope I won't let you down. Please come back. On Wednesday at 6 o'clock, I will be back live again. I want to say thank you to South 343 Beats LLC for the jewels tonight. Thank you to Def the Reaper for being a member for 4 months and for letting the chat know to hit the like button. Please, y'all, hit the like button. Thank you to SquareBiz 5838 for the $5 super chat. Thank you to Mr. Walker for being a member for 11 months. Thank you to Lee Turner, my A1 from since day one, sending me 10 jewels of gold coins. Thank you. And Shiz Be Yappin', thank you for the 5 Smell the Roses memberships. And my brother, the Genius CEO, thank you for gifting 5 Smell the Roses memberships and a Cash App. CEO, thank you so much. And for Tabitha Scott for the $10 super chat, being the sponsor of today's show. Tabitha, look out for a shout out on the community tab tomorrow. I appreciate you all so much. You make this fun and exciting, and you're helping the garden grow. But yeah, that's my show for tonight, everyone. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Please be sweet to each other when we see each other out in these YouTube streets, okay? When we're hearing these stories about death and disaster, we need to be reminded that we should all be looking for evidence. We don't need to be taking anybody's word for it, especially people like Officer Tatum or Tommy Sotomayor. Just because people have hyperbolic talking points, it doesn't mean that they have facts, data, and statistics to back them up. Okay, like, we have to do our own due diligence in figuring out what our own talking points are. Don't just take somebody's opinion for face value or for fact. What do you fucking think about it? What have you researched for yourself? Not what you've heard from me or from Fatty or from Ali or from whoever you listen to. You Figure it out. What do you think? What does Mr. Walker think? What does Latanya Phillips Fishing, what does she think? I'm sure that Latanya, thank you so much for being here, sweetie. I love you so much. You're my sister until the end. But what does Latanya think about what's happening to Nolan Wells? You know, like you take what you've read, what you've learned, and what you've experienced in life, and let that help shape your opinion. Just don't take our word for it because we're sitting under big, hot, flashy lights and we're sitting in front of a $200 microphone. You know, like you have an opinion too. Tell your kids, tell your brother, tell your sister. You know, my son starts school on Wednesday. I'm telling him, you know, look for weird patterns in your friend group. Like one of his friends has to know what happened to him. It's just, you know, I just don't, I'm not buying the story as they're telling it right now. So we should be waiting for the facts. We should be waiting for evidence. We should be waiting for court records. You know, like these are the things that we need to decide for ourselves, because that's how real accountability works for everybody. Okay. So that's it for me, guys. I love you all so much. Thank you for supporting me in every way, whether it's a like, a subscribe, becoming a member, sending a Cash App. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you all on Wednesday. Be sweet to each other, and don't forget to smell the roses. All right, I'm out. Bye-bye.